Alton here, and we are back with our second segment of the day. It was an amazing visit with our friends this morning. We looked at a wonderful piece of equipment, and now we're here with E1. And so we're at day 2 of REV's Apparatus and Technology Conference, and today we're talking all aerial. So if you're just joining us, you missed an incredible morning, but it is on demand. So is all of yesterday. So you can watch all of yesterday, all of today on demand on this very platform. So we're talking about some stuff that's pretty interesting too, like SteerTech. Yesterday we had Roger with us, who was the engineer. Roger LaCour was really responsible for integrating all that Hendrix technology into these REV platforms. And so you can listen to Roger explain the whole system. It's pretty cool stuff. So quick shout out to old Raj there, pretty cool guy. So please take advantage of it. It's all on demand, and it's really, really cool stuff. So I'm here with my friends from E1, and we're at the E1 facility in Ocala, Florida, where if you're ever in the area, it's a beautiful part of the country. They'd love to have you stop by, take a tour. We're right here in Ocala, gorgeous city, really great place. And so please, if you're in the area, please stop in and visit our friends from E1. So what are we going to look at this morning?
Well, we had a great product over here in the bay to walk around. It's an HR100 single axle Quint. It's an amazing vehicle. It's made to be maneuverable, and just a great all-around package.
So HR100. So I love the LX, the whatever, the R6, whatever. So HR100. What does HR mean?
That's a really good question, and we get asked that kind of thing a lot. And the HR basically is one of our higher performance machines, so it's one of our newer aerials. It has what's called a tough truss ladder design, but then the R stands for a rung-through design, to where the rungs on the main rails go all the way through. And it is actually something that we've been doing for about 40 years now, so it's a very rugged and robust design, very proven.
Huh, okay. So heavy duty and rung through, so that's the HR.
That's it.
Fantastic. And this is a Typhoon. Typhoons have been around for a while.
Typhoons have, but this is our latest version. We gave it a nice facelift, and actually we did a lot to it based on customer input. Voice of the customer gave us a lot of input, because the cab we had, it's been out there for quite a few years. Got a lot of great feedback. It's a super solid, rugged cab, but it was getting a little long in the tooth. So we went ahead and did a nice refresh and an update to it. So excited to show you that.
Now there's a phrase for you, long in the tooth. Yeah. That means old.
I figured you could relate to that.
I got it. I'm talking to the people under 60. So it means old. So, but it's good. So you listen to the folks out there, the firefighters that are riding on these rigs, and they said, hey guys, we love the Typhoon, but what about? So when we talk about that, I know we're going to see a great video in a moment, but when we're talking about it, what are some of the things that the folks suggested that E1 thought, wow, that makes sense. So what did the customer say? What did the guys and gals like me that are banging around on your rigs, what did they tell you?
We're going to talk a lot about that today, Bobby, and it's a really good question, because the Typhoon, as you said, has been around for a long time. The Typhoon is a fully extruded aluminum 3/16 cab, roll cage protection. So all of the things that have made the E1 DNA, made this the safest cab and chassis in the industry, all of those things are still there. We did a lot of things to make it a little bit more ruggedized inside. We've gone to an all metal interior, a cast aluminum dash, 2-piece door panels now for accessibility for maintenance work and all. We've taken the air conditioning system, we've maintained the high performance of that AC system, but we've lowered the profile a little bit to get about 4 more inches of visibility from the rear of the cab looking forward, and even from side to side, driver to officer. So a lot of things that customers sat in that truck and said, this is the perfect truck, just needs a few tweaks. We did the wipers. We brought the wipers down out of the view so that they're radial style wipers, reshaped the windshields a little bit, new door handles. So it's not just cosmetic. It's really about performance.
Play with all that stuff.
All of that stuff.
So when we talk about ruggedized, basically what they're talking about there is that a lot of the plastic and stuff like that has been eliminated. Not only does that do, it does a couple of things. Obviously durability, big issue, but beyond that, cleaning, right? When you're rubber, all the polymers and rubbers, they absorb and they off-gas all the time. And when we want to keep things clean, and we want to keep things for a long time, these things are specially painted, specially coated, and they're metal. So you can get in there, clean them to within an inch of their life, make sure that you're getting into a cab that's as clean as you could possibly get it, given the parameters of firefighter cleaning. So I really like that, and I appreciate that you're listening to men and women like me that have to ride on these trucks every day. Anything else? Anything else you caught?
Well, one thing I would like to throw out there, we're going to see a really good video by Justin Rice here in a few minutes, our E1 aerial sales manager. But I grew up with a father that was a sales guy, and my father always had a saying, and that was, nothing happens till somebody sells something. So I got to tell everybody out there watching right now, this particular unit that you're going to see Justin walk around and then Joe walk around live here, that is a retail unit. It's for sale. If this is the right unit for your department today, reach out to your local E1 dealer and we'll certainly put it out there for you. Notice it has no graphics on it. That's because it's looking for a home in your fire station.
Okay, that's a smart salesman right there. Because I already called my chief and I told him they could put the graphics on it in about 2 days. So, and I could even get my name on the door. He said if it,
Absolutely.
so
We'll make it happen.
So we got that going for us. So let's take a quick look at the video we've got of the HR100. The new Typhoon cab design and some of the features, and then we're going to actually go put our hands on it, and we're going to show you some other things that are not in the video. So, Mr. Producer, if you wouldn't mind, let's roll that HR100.
Hey folks, my name is Justin Rice, Aerial Sales Manager with E1. Thanks for tuning in. I'm excited to show you this awesome truck behind us. This is an HR100 single axle Quint. Really excited to show you all the awesome features this truck has to offer you. So we're going to start talking about the cab on this single axle aerial. So behind us we have the HR100. It's on the new Typhoon chassis. What I really like about this truck is there's a few things that really pop out. One is going to be our interior. Our interior is fire service ready. The demands of the fire service now are heavy call volumes. You guys are in these trucks all the time, moving around with tools and gear everywhere. So what we've done at E1 is we've really taken our interior to the next level, giving you full metal everywhere so that you can safely do your job and it's not going to wear and tear the truck and beat it up. Second, what I like about this truck is we're doing a lot of this. We're doing a lot of the vinyl interiors. The vinyl interior really helps after you guys get done with fires. You know, the carcinogens that you get in fires, you can keep these seats clean, keep the entire interior of the cab clean. It makes it safer for everybody down the road. Another thing I really wanted to show everybody is the pump panel. So in a world where we can do numerous amounts of options and any type of gauges and valves you want to do, what I really like about this truck, it's simplicity. When you look at this pump panel, you can see it's old school laid out. It's laid out nice and tight. We can go as far as enclosed pump panels, electric valves, whatever will best serve your department's needs, we can accommodate you. Another thing to note on here too, we talked about inside the cab with having vinyl seats to be able to clean the cab and keep everything nice and clean. This unit also has a decontamination discharge. This discharge is pretty cool because at the end of a fire, you can turn a pump on, engage this decon discharge, you can get it heated, and you can clean off all the firefighters and get all the carcinogens off them after you get done with your fires. So I want to continue on and talk to you guys about body options and configurations. One of the biggest questions I get asked in the field is, how do you fit all your tools and equipment on a single axle chassis? Because we do have a 100-foot ladder, single axle chassis, 235-inch wheelbase. So you're probably thinking, how do I fit all this equipment on my truck? Standard configuration for this product is at least 170 cubic feet of compartmentation. And even on other models, we can get upwards of 200 to 225 cubic feet. So we can customize this product to fit the needs of your department based upon your objective, what you're trying to do. So if you take a look at this truck here, you can tell we have very high, very full, deep compartments. These compartments allow for more shelving opportunities, allow you to organize your tools really well, keep everything nice and clean and organized in the truck. Heading to the back of the truck, I really want to talk to you guys about, ground ladder options and 5-inch capacity, 4-inch discharges, all that stuff off the rear. This truck is configured with 127 feet of ground ladders, which aren't in the truck, but it has 127 feet capable and 800 feet of 5-inch. What's really cool about our customizing of our devices is that you know the lay of your land better than anybody. Your department may need more 28s, they may need a 35, they may need 40s, they may need different ladders to serve your city. We can customize that based upon what'll fit in here, and it's really neat to see all that come to life. Same thing with your 5-inch capacities. I talk all the time about how much 5-inch do you want to carry? What's your goal? What do you need to make happen? This standard bed is 800 feet of 5-inch. I've seen 1,000 feet of 4. I've seen 2.5 discharges off the rear. I've seen a single lay of 400 feet of 5-inch. So we can make all that happen. You can reduce your 5-inch gain compartmentation, or you can make whatever hose configuration you want back here to serve the needs of your city. We also have extended hose beds, so if you need to get upwards of 1,000 feet of 4-inch in here, we have an option that'll fit that need just fine. Another feature I want to bring up to you while we're here at the back of the truck is the side stacker hose bed. This thing is awesome, man, because look, you can load all this hose without climbing underneath the ladder. It's all on the side of the truck, one door access. You can get personnel inside here to help you load hose. Easy to load, easy to get out whenever you need it deployed. This option right here is a back saver, and it's really, really cool, and it's a standard option on our products. So now we're at the time you've been watching this video that you've been waiting for, is to see this ladder in action. I'm going to talk a lot about our engineering and how we've designed the Advanced Aerial Control System Deluxe to make your department's training department easy. Make everything easy to operate. This is a simple product to operate, and I'm going to show you how. So I'm using the wireless, so I am kind of making it really easy on me, but I'm going to deploy these outriggers. Now, as you can see, I'm operating an 11-foot outrigger spread. It's short, tight to the truck. And our jack spread and jack operations are so easy that 4 jacks on the ground gives you an interlock light. And I can go simply from ladder, jacks to ladder, and then I'm flying the ladder all here on the wireless control system. So not only have I dropped the jacks, deployed the jacks, I'm now flying the ladder. So if your department struggles with manpower, you guys are light, and you just need some extra help, this wireless control system here can get you to drop your jacks and fly your ladder in no time. So this wireless system is really, really cool. And we put a lot of time and engineering into making this as efficient and easy to operate as possible. You have all your ladder controls. You have your user selectable ramping here, so you can control how you want the ladder to operate. You have your creep speed here. You have automatic cradling from here. You have your monitor controls, ladder lights, you name it. All this right here at your fingertips. So this is a really cool option, like I mentioned earlier. If your department has low manpower and you need to pack a big punch, this is a really cool feature. This is our HR100 aerial on this single axle chassis. What's really, really cool about what we can do for your department is that we can put 4 different aerials on this chassis. We offer the HM100, the LTH100, the 110, and the HR100. This HR100 is a 750-pound tip load operating device. It operates from -6 to 80 degrees elevation, 85 feet horizontal reach, and 100 feet vertical reach. It's packed with tons of different features, including 75 pounds for tip allowance for equipment. We offer storefront blitz. We offer pinnable waterway, axe brackets, color cameras, FLIR cameras, you name it. The list of what we can do on our aerials is almost endless. Just contact one of your E1 guys to help you out with it. So to finish this HR100 single axle Quint walk around video, I'm going to draw your attention to our control system. This is our Advanced Aerial Control System Deluxe, top of the line setup right here. Everything you need to operate an aerial or get a mission critical information is right here at your fingertips. Automatic cradling, body protection. You have the ability to see all your engine information, ladder information, user adjustable ramping, monitor controls, and much, much more. This system is built to be simple, easy to operate, and efficient for you guys on the field. Thank you so much for tuning in to this truck walk around with the HR100 single axle Quint. It means a lot for us for you to take your time to watch this video. This is an awesome product that'll serve your department very, very well. If you have any questions or need any information on this product or any of our amazing aerials that we offer, please reach out to the best dealer network at any of your E1 dealers nationwide. Thank you so much and have a good day.
Well, that was an amazing piece of video. Before we talk about the video, I'd like to thank our sponsors again, Darley, IDEX, United Safety, Whelen, and Hendrickson. What a wonderful group of companies. Please go to their websites, tell them how much you appreciate today. We're having a great time. We're actually going to put our hands on that rig in a moment, which I understand is available for sale.
It absolutely is. Again, I'm not going to miss an opportunity to give a shameless plug. This is a retail unit. It's available for sale, immediate delivery, no graphics on it. We can put your name on it today.
We're stacking them deep and selling them cheap, folks. I got to tell you. So where's that from? So we were doing some movie stuff earlier. Listen, that was a really cool video, and we do want to get on the rig in a moment. There's some really important stuff. The voice of the customer matters. And so the Typhoon has a brand new cab design. We're going to get inside, take a look at it. You saw some of the features there. it's a beautifully laid out piece of apparatus. So I really think he did a good job on the video, but there's nothing like being able to climb up and put your hands on it. And so we're gonna actually get up there and why don't we do that now? You okay with that, Mr. Producer, if we walk over and take a look at this rig?
Let's head over and take a look.
You know, you look at the stance of her, and you know, single axle. I mean, that's an absolutely beautiful rig. I love the lighting, and it's kind of nice the way the paint scheme with the LEDs on the backside really gives me, you know, in the dark, I can imagine that that's really going to give me some fantastic visibility, and it's everywhere. You know, you just have done a wonderful job of detailing the rig and making it, you know, the visibility of it is just stunning, and she's really. What's my wheelbase here?
This wheelbase is 235 inches.
Okay, and that feet would be about what? Right around 19 feet?
About 19.
That is really something. Beautifully done, just gorgeously done, really well appointed. So, you know, we talked a little about the new look and feel of the Typhoon, and you know, here she is. But this, to me, as we come around, Joe, it looks different.
It does look a lot different, and I know we talked earlier at the table about some of the more ruggedness that we built into it and more function, but we also wanted to change its look some too, because it was looking a little tired. So what we did is we changed the front end of it, we added a lot of LED lighting, and we've also added a new stainless steel grille that comes standard, and we lined everything up so it ergonomically looks really, really good. And we also, the radial wipers that you heard talked about earlier, they park down low out of your line sight. So we really opened up the visibility looking out the front of the truck.
Yeah, you can see that. They're just below my dashboard here, so they're tucked away.
We did tuck that away, yeah.
Really well. It's a great look. It's sleek.
And this truck also has an option for a 72-inch light bar at the top to give phenomenal forward lighting. Very popular in the industry, so there's no shortage of LED lighting on this truck.
And with E1, everything is customizable. So, you know, now this truck, which is available for sale, as Larry has pointed out, you could have different bumpers.
Oh, absolutely. Bumpers are so customizable. We've just got, I would say, literally thousands of different bumper styles. I see new ones come across our desk every day. There's something different somebody's dreamed up. So this is a heavy-duty 10-inch high. We use a diamond plate and we lip over the top that protects the edge of that bumper because we know it's a work surface and people are just going to beat this area up. It's just the way it happens. And we wanted to protect the painted bumper and the striping on it. So.
And I got a discharge up here for front bumper
discharge
load.
For pre-connect. Yep.
The lighting's spectacular. Talk to me about the lighting.
Yeah, so the lighting, this one has an LED lighting for the headlights that have a halo ring in it, but there's several different brands of LED lighting available. There's a new strip light in the middle between the quads, so that's new, and that can either be a turn signal or a daytime running, and most customers are going with it as a turn signal because that allows for the upper bezels to have twin warning lights, so you don't have to use one of those 4x6 spots for a turn signal.
Wow, this is just really well apportioned, nice. I like it.
We're real happy with the way it turned out.
But she is a Typhoon. So,
It is a Typhoon, absolutely. And what the Typhoon cab does have, we did retain, was the rugged construction to it. The E1 Typhoon cab is very, very strong. In fact, it withstands over 5 times the NFPA requirements for roof load and over 2 times the frontal impact requirements. So it's a very, very solid cab. It's filled with extrusions running throughout the cab structure. And then the plate work on the interior, the exterior is all 3/16, including the doors. So again, it's very, very heavy duty, rugged and robust. We retained that from the legacy cab into this new model, but then we also took voice to the customer and did things like change the doors. We had an L handle that was really, really old. Many customers were saying that handle looks like it's about 30 years old, and really it was. So we completely redesigned the doors. They've got a nice, smooth operating pull handle, a full width door glass. And then on the stepping, you notice that there's nice, wide, well-illuminated stepping.
Well, my buddy Morty, so Morty Strauss, a buddy of mine, he would love that. The steps are illuminated, right? Illuminated.
We need to keep them, Bobby.
Yeah, no, we can't eliminate the steps. But so, you know, folks don't think about it, but when you're moving fast, anything that takes away from your working memory is a problem. But if your steps are illuminated, you don't have to think about it because that visual bing, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
other than feeling around or looking. So a little quick shout out to my buddy Morty, who's one of my dear friends, and he would appreciate that. He's safety crazy, but I do like it. So the doors hinge differently. You were talking about earlier.
Well, the door. What we did with the door is we ruggedized the whole inside of it. So the entire interior of the door is completely redesigned from the older products, and part of that was heavy-duty window regulators. All the latching is different. We also split the door panel. So the door panel is 2 pieces. So what that means is to service anything inside the door years down the road, it's very easy to take the lower panel off. You don't have to disturb any of the door hardware, the latching, the linkages, all that stays in place. So it makes it much more serviceable down the road, because we know people keep these trucks for 20 or 30 years. So things are going to happen.
That's the hope of all the fire chiefs, is that you can get maximum life out of it.
And that's what we wanted to do. Was
so
to make
2-piece door, I like it. New hinging system. She's just a beautiful layout, nice and clean. And so here's what we're talking about, the rugged earlier.
Yep.
All of the plastic that we used to have up here has been replaced with metal.
Yes, exactly. The fire service has kind of gone through an evolution. There was a plastic, more automotive look about 20 years ago, and it's all transitioned back now to a very heavy duty. And what we did is we cast aluminum pieces make up this dashboard. So it's extremely rugged. We have several variations available. We've got one that is very low profile, which this one is. And then we've got, this is the tall one. And then we've got another version that's a low profile in the center, again, to open up more visibility for the crew and the driver.
Really clean.
The overhead console also is a ruggedized. It is all aluminum, and it is hinged for service access. And see, Bobby, the 3 spots in the center where the radio and other components can go, we have an option to remove that really opens up forward visibility even more. Because some people like to put those down low.
You could put a cut, so that would be cut
Trim
away,
it
and
off.
I gain all that. But
Gain that.
And my air conditioner is even more recessed than,
Yes.
I mean, I hardly notice it. That's what you were talking about earlier. So that's to increase my visibility up there.
Yes, the air conditioning system, we redesigned it. We kept the same high performance out of it from the legacy cabs, but we redesigned it to where it's reduced profile. And what that means is it lifts it up about 4 inches closer to the ceiling. So folks sitting in the back of the cab can look through underneath the air conditioner. It's not blocking their view. And also for the driver and officer communicating to each other or looking out the door windows, they can see much better underneath and across the cab.
Okay, so I just noticed something. The truck's a little higher than I looked at it earlier. So it's not defying gravity. You've got the outriggers out, and this truck is off the ground at the moment.
We've got the new option that's the hovercraft, but we'll cover that later. But so it is we do have it up in the air.
The truck is up in the air.
We do have it in the air.
Did I get shorter?
Yeah, no, I lifted it on you, sorry.
She's really nice. Can we mind if I take a look at the cab?
Absolutely, take a look. And inside the back of the cab, you notice also the new stepping, very wide and ergonomic. This truck has an L9 engine in it, and with that we can do a reduced profile engine cover. And by that, what I mean is it's pushed in to give us much space for the interior. What we get from customers is, I need more room for the crew, I need more room for the officer, and that's what we've done, is we have pushed the engine cover forward about 10 to 12 inches to get more room. Now this truck has got a cabinet in it, but when you have a bench seat in the back for the forward-facing people, it is worlds different with that extra room in the cab.
I agree, and one of the things I just noticed, I don't know if our camera guys can see it, but this is nice for storage for small things, right? You got, because whenever your extra flashlight, a couple of tools you might want to use occasionally, things you might want to have for specific calls. Wintertime you might want to throw your goggles, your hoods, stuff like that. So I like when they build stuff like that in that I can use, and you can see she's sweet. I mean, it's easy to get into. It really is it's a roomy feel. I like it. I really do like it. That's kind of nice. And again, illuminated steps, that's a really important thing. And so, which brings us to right here, which is...
That's the outrigger.
I know. I'm like,
that's fully deployed.
I thought it was just a plate for a minute there.
Yeah, no, that's our outrigger.
So my outrigger is...
It normally stows right up next to the diamond plate panel that's there.
And this is what you were talking about earlier, about the corkscrew.
The torque box chassis.
Torque box chassis, okay.
Yep. And this truck does feature that, and that's a unique feature to E1, is that we have an integral torque box chassis. And what that means is that instead of having a separate torque box for the aerial outrigger system and then a chassis frame rails, we've combined those two into a solid structure, and it just gives a very firm, solid backbone into the truck that it just doesn't twist to speak of.
So the outrigger, versus an old standard jack where you had a jack where your L plate came up and up and up. Now it's like a scissor jack, right?
It is kind of like that. What it does is the jack leg anchors, it pivots on the other side of the chassis, but the lift cylinder is on this side. So it keeps all of that structure down low, and it keeps the weight low.
So rather than the big H,
we moved it all down below.
Moved it all down
so
below.
it does several things for you. One is it puts a very low center of gravity. So when you're driving the vehicle, the weight is much lower than would be typically found on an H-style outrigger system. Plus, it gives you extra compartmentation, because now we've got storage space over top. But also, when you work around to get into the compartment to grab things, you don't have to work around an outrigger. So it's very easy to get to things inside.
Well, that's really nice. And he's right. That's pretty amazing. And that's, boy, that's
fully deployed.
It's at my knees. And yeah, and it's fully deployed. I gotta say, boy, that is something. That's really nice. So, she's a Quint?
She is a Quint, absolutely. Has a 500-gallon water tank, 1,500 GPM pump. That is Hale, so that's a division of IDEX. The pump panel on this truck is a pretty straightforward one. We do some that are very elaborate, pull handles, lots of electric controls. This truck was set up in the keep it simple method to where we line up the push pulls with the gauges. Everything is very easy and intuitive to operate. So this is one of the cleanest pump panels that we offer.
I do like it, but so...
You're wondering what that is, aren't you?
Yeah, okay.
What's behind
Is this where I
the
mount
curtain?
my big screen TV? Or
What's behind the curtain? Well, I suppose we could do that for you.
That is a big curtain.
Yeah.
And this is not a compartment, so what are we looking at?
No, so what that is, that's our water tank. So on this product, to get it to all packaged correctly, we didn't want, when we built this 100-foot single axle Quint, we didn't want to take anything away from the whole package. And we believe firmly in a package of a water tank, ground ladders, hose bed, compartmentation, pump panel. It all has to work. So to maintain our rear ladder tunnel and the way the outrigger system works, the compartmentation, we went ahead and put the water tank up front. And that actually worked out really well for the balance of the vehicle, because this truck runs on a 24 front and a 35 rear, and putting the water tank up front actually balanced it out perfectly. So this truck does have a 500-gallon tank. Now we do smaller water tanks, and the reason somebody might want to do that is, for example, they just want more compartmentation. They've got enough hydrants. They only need a 300-gallon tank, which is all you need for a Quint. So they'll say, give me a 300 tank, and we make a full-height compartment there for more storage space.
Wow, so this one's configured with a 5, though.
That's
This
a
is the 5.
500, yep.
So up above, I'm seeing...
That would be the fill tower.
Really nice.
Yep.
That's a really nice deal. And I've got my cross laser here, so 2 3 3/4, 1 2.5.
Correct. We've got 3 pre-connected handles,
Really,
and then
really
the front
good.
jump line.
Beautiful. And foam unit?
And foam. And this truck, you noticed in the video, Justin pointed out, down here is our decontamination outlet.
Yeah.
So what that does is when the pump is engaged, it just flows a pre-measured amount of water out, so it's not full force, it's pressure regulated. And we also have an option for a temperature control. So if you're up north, you don't want freezing cold water on you.
No.
So we have a way to thermally, or to keep that water at a certain temperature, and so where it is heated as well. So that's a nice option for getting decontamination of the folks before they get into the fire truck.
That really is a nice, simple, I like it. That's a really back to basics kind of approach there. It's not the F-18, cockpit look, which is fine, but
Yep. We absolutely do those for people. In fact, another option we do for the northern customers is an enclosed pump panel. So that's something that we do, put a roll-up door over the whole thing and keep it all out of the weather. So that's actually become a popular option up north.
And again, when I was on the line as a young firefighter, we didn't have the option for this kind of LED lighting, which I can't emphasize enough how really not only impressive but important that is. I mean, you have no idea how grateful I am to the industry for listening to us, because finding handles, finding things in the dark under pressure is not as easy as people think it might be. So, when we're talking about safety and innovation, it's nice to hear that E1 heard the voice of the men and women who ride on these rigs and paid attention to it. So, some great stuff. Mind if I open up a couple of
Absolutely, go ahead. So What you see here is a full depth, full height compartment, and that again was one of the main attributes when we designed this product, is we wanted to get a tremendous amount of compartment space. So you'll notice it is again full height, full depth, so it can be configured however a customer wants. If they want shelves, trays, vertical partitions, pull-out tool boards, they're all available. As Larry mentioned, this one is available, so it can be configured exactly the way the customer wants.
If Larry doesn't get this truck sold by the end of this broadcast, you're in trouble.
I'm just trying to help the man out.
She is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful rig.
Again, this compartment is a full depth for loads of storage space.
Nice clearance. Really well done. Beautifully done. And again, our outrigger, barely an issue in terms of me, pulling something out, coming here to.
And that compartment, there's a bump out, there's a little bit of a jack leg in there, but that's where but there's still a large compartment. And the other thing you'll notice, standing right behind Bobby, you'll notice that the body tapers up, and that's something we did on this product. We know that rear overhang and departure angle is important in many locations. So what we did is we stair-stepped the body up to give a great departure angle, and we also kept the rear overhang as short as we could. And then the other thing...
This is, just so everybody knows, this is just the ladder. It's down. We're going to climb up in a bit. But to Joe's point, she steps up because I've heard that operators can back into things and get high-centered.
Is this the time to change the subject?
No, yes, it's time to change the subject from my earlier days as a driver. Not that that's ever happened to me personally, but I've heard that some guys have that problem.
So should somebody happen to do something under the back of a truck that might impact a fuel tank, the other thing we did on this product is we put the fuel tanks and we tucked them in either side between the jack leg and the tires. So it's going to be pretty hard for somebody to have a mishap with the fuel tank. And they're connected from each side, so you really only need to fill one side. But there's up to 60 gallons available of fuel on this product, so it's not underneath the truck.
My tank isn't laying here.
It's up here.
Saddle tanks.
Saddle tanks.
That's a pretty sweet deal. Okay, Ms. Cameron, I'm going to come around the back. I want to see, before we're going to go up later, but before we go, you don't mind coming around the back? I'd love to see what we have in the back of the truck.
Absolutely. So, back here, we've got a center ladder tunnel. So there's a lift-up door with the ladder tunnel, and then here what you've got is our aerial controls. We've got one panel for the master that turns aerial power on and switches from jacks to ladder. And then here we have a jack leg switch panel that you can control the front and rear outriggers. And you'll notice that they are out, and they come out and then they go down. So how that works is one switch. So that's one thing that E1 is known for, is the simplicity of setup. Basically hold one switch, it gets all the way to the end of the stroke, automatically drops and lowers, lifts the truck to where you want it, and you let go.
So here's my front, I just take it out.
It goes out and then down.
Done.
One smooth motion.
I'm done. Nicely done.
Yep.
So I'm assuming my ladders?
Ground ladders are here. Yes. And the ground ladders are something that we customize to meet customers' needs. This one has 127 feet of ground ladders. Now, Quint only needs 85 feet. So we're way beyond what NFPA requires for ground ladders. So this one is a really nice ladder load. This one's got a 35-foot ladder, 28, 24, 16, and 14. We actually do some with a 35-foot two-section ladder, which is kind of incredible that that's a 20-foot long ladder on this truck. So we do have to make some changes, but we have done them with twin 35 two-sections all the way up the middle of the truck. So we can customize this rack typically to meet your needs.
So, and the ladder slides are neoprene, which, you know, when you're moving a lot of ladders, that's a nice feature because it's just a little less effort that you have to extend. They'll just slide right in, they'll slide right out. I kind of like that attention to detail. The other thing I like about the compartment, seriously, is that as I look in it, you know, oftentimes you'll see hose lines, power cabling and such, but this is really clean and it's all contained.
Yep.
That's smart. I like that.
Yeah, we try to keep it clean in there and protected from road spray and elements.
Yeah, no, I'm very impressed. Really well done. That's a pretty good one. So we keep coming around by pike poles.
The pike pole storage attic ladder. Now this also does feature a side stack hose bed. And what that means is the hose bed is not located under the area. We've got lots of products that we build that way, and especially in the past. But here recently the trend has been to a side stacker hose bed. And what that means for us is that the hose is stored outboard on the body. And why that's important is once the hose is out, that's the easy part. Getting it back in, That's the harder part.
And
So
this is a hinged lid, so
That's a hinged
it's
lid.
my hose bed cover.
correct. So once you lift that up, then you can get and easily load the hose with the man up top, put the hose in, and as Bobby said, when you put the cover down, now you've got a deck and a walking surface, so when the aerial's rotated around, you're not worried about stepping on a vinyl cover.
So when we're repacking, I tell one of the gals, get up there, grab, you, and then we just feed hose and flip it down, and she's covered.
That's right.
I like
That's
it.
right. And we've got different size hose beds. This is our standard size. We've got some that are deeper, some are shorter, some are longer. So again, it's something we can customize for the customers, that if they want more storage space than hose bed, we can do that.
Okay, you're a jerk. So,
What'd I do?
okay, we have 3 jacks out. So I've been opening all the compartments, and Mr. Smart guy here.
Ah, you noticed, did you?
Yeah, he's got
notice?
one of the outriggers is up.
Yeah.
So all of those doors that I was opening, all of those compartments that I was opening, this rig is not twisted at all.
No, it's not. And you notice it's sitting stable. Now, you would never want to fly the aerial like this.
No,
but,
no.
But I set it up this way just to show the strength of that backbone,
to prove
is that this is very, very solid frame under this truck. And so by doing that, we can demonstrate this way that the aerial is not twisting when it's under this load. And notice that I've got the turntable side. I didn't go the front, I put the rear. There's a lot of weight back here that this
Well,
frame is holding.
There's more weight here.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that's pretty impressive because I didn't see any twist at all.
no twist.
I didn't see any deflection. I didn't
twist.
see any. And again, all the compartment doors open, no problem. Nothing. That's pretty impressive. Now you're not operating that way. We're not telling anybody to operate that way. What we're saying is, this rig is that stable. This rig is that tough. So here's my remote.
Yeah, you saw Justin on that in the
Yep.
video.
Yeah, I like it. I got to tell you, if you're out there watching us, this thing's light. This ain't a big deal at all. I mean, this is it's like a Mr. T starter kit. You can put it on there and your bling.
Looks good on
It's
you.
your bling, yeah, right. But very easy. I mean, when we're taking a look at this, if my camera guy can see what I'm looking at here, that's pretty simple. It's big, it's bold, it's bright, and it is really light. This is nothing to deal with. So, because one of the problems, anytime you put added weight on somebody, if they've got, she's got her air pack on, she's got tools hanging off her, now I want her to carry this, you really gotta, I like the fact that this is sweet. This is pretty easy.
And you notice it's got monitor controls on it as well as jack legs, so you can control the entire aerial from
Right,
that.
so I can control the entire operation. So I could come down, I could get a good visual, I could walk around my rig. This is a nice piece of equipment. I'd like to go up on the top of the platform, if that's
Absolutely.
okay. If the camera guys are okay with us coming up there, and I know this is always kind of tough, but that is pretty neat when you can, and again, Joe did this intentionally. We wanted to show how tough this truck is. We were talking a lot about how they've designed this frame, this rectangular concept that they have, and how that really pays off in terms of the durability. The more stable a rig is important, not just for the handling, not just for comfort and all that. Durability, right? The less twist you have with anything, the less it's manipulated. Especially when we're talking about metals, that's a big deal. It's really beautifully done and really impressive. So we spoke a little bit earlier about how E1 has always designed a really beautiful aerial, and we were talking about taking somebody down on a Stokes basket and the width, and so here we are. This is a really nicely done.
Yes, this HR100 ladder is constructed with welded aluminum extrusions, so it will never need repainting. It's not painted now, so it'll never corrode or rust. And what you're stepping on are some non-slip rungs. So what that means is there's no rubber covers on it. So those can be a maintenance item over years. So we've integrated that non-slip to that. And also notice how tall the handrails are.
Yeah,
so it gives
I'm right there. This is comfortable.
nice, safe, and secure climbing with the HR100 ladder.
The other thing I like about it, but while I'm up here, and just because I'm an old fire chief, is that I can see everything. Nothing's hidden. I can see all my cable. I can see everything. It's clean.
It's a clean climbing surface, and everything is out of your way, but it's also very serviceable.
Beautiful. I mean, my cables that's really well done and beautiful. It really, you can feel the strength of it. You know what I mean?
It's a very strong ladder, and again, the rung-through design has been around for a long time. The slide system is very, very proven and very, very durable. So we adapted that into the new HR100.
Well, let's take a look at
Sure.
the control panel.
So what we have is this truck has got our deluxe control system. It's got our AACS, and what it features is electric over hydraulic controls with the ramping. And what that means is that instead of direct hydraulics to where you have to very carefully feather to make a smooth aerial operation, this makes everybody a pro, because the way that the levers operate, when you let go of them, they slowly drift to a stop. And what we found out over the time of developing this and working with customers is that some liked it to stop faster than others.
There's times when you want that, seriously.
Right, yep. So when you're up close to a building, you don't want it to keep going. It's called ramp. You don't want it to go ramping and to ramp on. So we actually put a button on it.
Okay.
We got tired of going out and talking to folks saying, hey, make it firmer, we make it firmer, make it softer, we make it softer. So we went ahead and said, engineering says, let's just put the button on and let them do it. So we put a button on it, and you can control 3 different settings of how long that ramp happens. So for individual operators or the condition, they can set it the way they want.
Oh, I like that.
And the other thing you see here is the screen. Now what that screen is set up is in what we call mission specific screens. And what does that mean is that we set it up for a tip load screen. So if you just have firefighters at the tip, you're really not too concerned about what the water flow is at that time. Or you may be set up as a distributed load operation.
Well, when I'm distributed, when we use words like distributed operation, when I'm sending men and women up the ladder, and maybe they're going through a VEIS, and so I want to put my people on the ladder, when at different angles, I've got to be very aware of the loading.
Correct, and this gives you a nice pictorial image of that, so you can tell very simply how many people you can put out, whether you're distributed, whether you're at the tip, and it does it based on the aerial position. So if it's retracted, it holds more load, extended or elevated, so it changes based on the aerial position. It's got all that programming in
And
it.
I've got my pendulum chart right there, so I
You've
just
got
glance
as a backup.
over.
Yep, exactly.
Really well done. So I'd like to take a few questions. So
Sure.
why don't you and I head back over to the table? We'll join
All
up
right.
with our buddy Larry, who's over there. And Larry, while we're heading over, why don't you just cover with everybody again what we did with what you did with the Typhoon cab and the upgrades that the Typhoon has? Because well, this ain't your daddy's Typhoon. This is a brand new Typhoon, and she's really impressive. So, Larry, what she got?
Thanks, Chief. I really appreciate that. You know, Joe did an outstanding job walking around this truck. It's just so well thought out. There's so many things to talk about, and Joe just does a fantastic job. Working with Joe for a little over the last 29 years, he's a wealth of knowledge, so we really appreciate that. But the Typhoon cab, again, you know, we thought about what we really needed to do and really the safety and stability of that cab with the roll cage construction, 3/16 aluminum exterior plating. We didn't want to mess with any of that. So we really went out, listened to the customer, said, what is it that you all need? What do you want to make this truck a little bit more user-friendly and ruggedized? So all the things we talked about, it's not only about being more ruggedized, it's also about accessibility and being able to work on that truck. I never let people forget, these are still customized products. They're hand built by men and women every day. Things are going to go wrong.
But this one is available right now.
It is available today, and it can be yours today. So don't forget to call your local E1 dealer. Let's make that happen.
You're never going to live that down.
I am not. You're right.
But
I
seriously,
am not.
if you are interested in this rig, it's Larry Daniels at E1, and he seriously would love to show you this rig.
Absolutely.
And I'll be honest, and I don't sell these things, but I do know, as a fire chief who's bought them, that once a rig is built, there's a little more negotiation room, because they want this rig off the floor.
Absolutely.
I'm playing the other side of the coin here, because I'm the customer. So, but she's absolutely beautiful rig. So we do have a few questions that came in. If you guys don't mind, spend a little time with me. So thank you so much. So even with the narrower outrigger stance, can you still short jack?
That's a great question. We do not offer short jacking on this product. We do on some of our larger crisscross underslung outriggers, like our 100-foot platform. We definitely have a short jack capability for that product. But on this one, it's so narrow that you can fully deploy the outriggers in 11-foot pin-to-pin spread and not have any restrictions whatsoever. Completely unrestricted rotation. And so we just kept it simple, and it keeps the weight and the cost down as well. So it's a good question.
No, that's a great question, and it's a great answer. So the design kind of compensates for the fact that no, you cannot short jack, but as we showed, the profile is really tight. So I like it.
Yep.
Is there a dead man switch on the aerial tip to control the remote? And that comes first from Clifford Nakoa, and if I messed up your name, Cliff, I apologize, but Clifford Nakoa wants to know, do we have a dead man switch to control the remote on the aerial?
There is not a dead man switch. How it's set up is that the wireless control is what's called a secondary station. So the turntable can absolutely take control from the wireless controls. But at the tip, this truck doesn't have that, but we do have an option for tip controls. And per NFPA, there's got to be a button at the base for the man down there to hold it to allow the tip to operate. But from the tip to the wireless, no, there is no connection there.
And so what's really important about what we're doing here today, and my hat goes off to the folks at REV for doing this, you're getting honest answers from honest people about their products, and I love the questions because these guys are not going to give you any baloney. They're going to tell you exactly what these rigs can do, and we're going to be looking at a bunch of, if you can't find a rig within the E1 family that suits your needs, I don't know where you're fighting fire, to be honest with you. So great answer too, and I love it. So what's our axle rating on the rear?
Okay, this is.
Oh, and I'm sorry, that comes from Brandon Gomez. Brandon, thank you for the question. Seriously, when you take the time, I want to say thank you to everybody who's sending in questions. That's a great question. So what is that rear axle rating?
It is. It's 35,000 pounds. We use a new Meritor axle, and it happens to use the Roadmax Hendrickson air suspension on the back, or we can do Rayco springs, because we have some people that like springs, some want air, so we have both available, and again, it's 35,000. Now, concerning the weight, we get asked that periodically, and this truck with the NFPA in-service weight is going to be about 23 on the front and about 33 on the rear. So really, and that's with full 2,500 pounds equipment and all the ground ladders and hose, so it's got some margin there as well for additional stuff.
So the front axle rating was
24.
24. 24, that's impressive. That's impressive. Now, I don't know what this means, so I'll have to defer, but what is the OAL on the HR100? What's he referring to with OAL?
I think he's referring to the overall length in that case. And this particular truck is 39 feet 6 inches long and only 11 feet 7 inches overall height. So it's a nice compact package all the way around.
If you're asking questions and you're using acronyms that are kind of obscure like that, write them out. I'm a simple guy. I'm a really simple guy. I do have a PhD, just so everybody knows, I do. I'm not sure why everybody makes such a big deal out of it. A public high school diploma, I thought most people got them. So I am educated, but that's as far as I went. So this is a great question. It comes to us from Michael, and Mike, I'm going to try to get your name right. Huskovich, I hope I nailed that, Mike. Mike Huskovich. We live in a rural area with a decent amount of industrial facilities, but we also have to respond to remote areas with weight limits on roads. So this is a really good question. What is the gross vehicle weight on this rig? That's a really good question.
That is, because we know that there are some roads that have weight limits to them. So this truck does have a 24,000 pound front axle and a 35,000 pound rear. So that's the maximum capacity. Depending on how the vehicle is equipped, you can put a smaller water tank in it, keep the L9 engine, and lower the actual in-service weight to something lower than that. You can get down into the 22.5 on the front, or maybe even less. So it's.
And I operate in a pretty rural area too, so that would fit most of the roads that I have to deal with in rural Oklahoma. So that's a great, thank you for a great question. Another great question from Bill Darby. Can the rear axle compartment come with a roll-up door?
Yes, absolutely it can. Now we don't do that typically, and simply because the roll-up door does take a little bit of room for the drum. So to give the maximum compartment storage space, most folks go with a lift-up door on that compartment. And it also gives some shelter. I've heard customers tell me, whether it's rain or sun, it gives a little bit of shade. But a roll-up door certainly can be done, and I get it. People have driven out of stations, and usually the fire truck loses when you drive out with the door open. But it absolutely can be had with a roll-up door.
Yeah, I've heard that's happened to other operators, tearing a door off a compartment. As a fire chief, I used to find out too that buildings can jump right in front of the truck while they're trying to pull out, which is pretty interesting stuff. So here's another great question, and it comes to us, does this come with an auto leveling?
Yeah, that's another good question. On this, that's the auto level is something we offer on our larger outrigger spread machines, but on this truck we do not have the auto level available for it. But again, it's a very, very simple 4 switches out and level, and it sets up very, very quick. So auto level, there's nothing technically stopping it, but it's just from a request standpoint, we just haven't had a lot on it. And it's something we can consider for future development though, so it's a good question.
So I love the audience, because we've got audience out there today that are engineers, we've got audience out there today that are men and women who actually, you know, are mechanics and designers that are working with departments that are asking very technical questions, and I love them. But we also have real firefighters out there, and I can tell you right now that Brian McDonald, who just sent in this question, is a real boots on the ground firefighter, because Brian asks, what's the hose capacity for the 3 pre-connects that are over the pump? So what Brian's asking is, how many lengths can I get in there, right? Now your lengths for your 2.5 are going to be a little denser. Your lengths for your 1 3/4, they're going to be a little, you know, a little different. So how long a stretch can I get on those pre-connects? Now I'm not a big fan of long stretches, Brian, on those pre-connects, so I'm going to admonish you there, buddy. But how many lengths can I get?
So the two forward cross lays are plumbed with 2-inch plumbing, and they'll hold 200 feet of 1 3/4 or 2-inch hose. So 200 feet in each of the forward 2 lays. The third lay is a 2.5, and it'll hold between 150 and 200 feet, depending on the type and brand of hose.
And if I know Brian, like I think I know Brian, you're going to be trying to squeeze in that extra length. And if I see that extra length up there, I'm just kidding you. But that's a great question. So, you know, this audience is a real audience. We're live, and these guys and I haven't seen these questions, and that's some really important stuff. And that's an absolutely gorgeous rig. So we got time for a couple more questions, I think, Mr. Producer. So, okay, great. So not a question. I'm not who this came from. Did I get a name on this one? Okay, James Harvey. Thank you, James. Not a question. I just wanted to say that we have an HR100 on order for Windsor, Nova Scotia. Did you sell this one, Larry? Okay, in Canada, and we're really looking forward to taking delivery of it early in 2022. So, James, thank you for that shout out for the HR100, and you're really, I got to tell you, you made a great choice. That's a gorgeous rig we just looked at. So this comes to us from William Kaleen, K-A-E-L. How far below the bedded angle will the ladder go below grade? That's a pretty interesting question.
Oh, that's a good one.
How low will that ladder go below the bedded grade?
Yep. The HR100 will go -6 degrees off to the side and rotated completely around the rear. So it does very well with the below grade performance.
Okay. And so where that comes into play for men and women like us is if we're doing road rescue, or say we have to get into a waterway and we want to take that ladder down, how much of an angle can we get? 6 degrees is great, because I could use that. Oftentimes we'll use that as a platform to come back up. So pretty cool deal. So Clifford Nakoa just said he wants to clarify. I love this. This is as live as it gets, right? I meant, is there a switch on the remote that allows someone to control the tip?
Yeah, now I follow what you're asking, so that does make more sense. Thanks for that clarification. And the answer to that would be no, simply because NFPA requires a momentary switch at the turntable to allow for the tip controls. So that's something that we have to do, because the idea is from that position, he is a direct line of sight. Otherwise, somebody could have the wireless remote and be around the corner. That wireless has got quite a range on it, and you want to have them close by. So what NFPA did is they just said, we want the operator at the turntable because there's a man's life at the end at stake. So let's have a guy right there where we can see it.
That's a great answer. Whenever I hear an answer that's bedded in safety, that's bedded in operational intelligence, I'm all in. So thank you. Another great question from William Darby, and he wants to know, what's the largest dimension available for the ladder tunnel?
Well, the dimension, it's 34 inches wide if you're looking for a dimension, and the height is around 32 to 34. The length is about 200 inches. But again, we have done some products with 2 section 35s that are 20 feet long, and actually the ladders go into the pump compartment. And we have to do some special things in the pump compartment to make that happen, but it's been done several times now. But the ladder complement is something that we work with customers to work through what we'll package in there properly for them.
So William, our last question, William Kaleen is asking about, can the outriggers be deployed by remote? And we kind of showed that. And so I can answer that one, and yes, they can.
Yes.
So, and really beautifully. It was, so great question. Oh, okay, I'm gonna take one more. I lied, because I kind of like this question. It comes to us from Brad, and I am not gonna try your name, because it would defy Mama? Maybe Mama? I'm sorry, man, but Brad, what are the rung rail heights on the ladder sections? That's a good question. What are the rung rail heights on that ladder section?
That is good, and I got to be honest, I don't have it totally committed. I believe it's about 20 inches on the fly section, and obviously it gets up taller as you work down the aerial.
Okay, so I lied again. I'll take this one last question. What is the range? Remotes are interesting things, right? So whenever you're dealing with a remote, if you travel too far, as we all know with our wireless devices these days, how far can I travel with that remote?
I don't know that we found the end zone for that, but I know at our aerial plant, we got about 400 feet away and we're still flying the aerial. So
well, listen, that really was my last question, because we need to wrap up, and we wanted to say thank you again to our sponsors, Darley, IDEX, United Safety, Whelen, and Hendrickson. So thank you so much to our sponsors. You guys are wonderful people. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We saw two incredible pieces of equipment. I want to thank everybody who was with me here this morning, our folks from KME, our friends from E1. What a wonderful morning. There was a lot to unpack there, and we still have more to go. We've got a fantastic afternoon planned for you. We've got our friends from Ferrara, and I brought an interpreter for those of you who don't know Cajun, because we've got a Cajun. So it's going to be an absolute blast. You're going to have a great time. We've got an incredible rig to take a look at, and two great guys. So the afternoon is Ferrara. We're going to have a fantastic afternoon with them. And then we have a roundtable plan where you can join with us, ask questions in real time, and we got some straight shooters here. If they know the answer, they're going to give it to you, and if they don't, they're going to tell you that, and they'll get back with you. And available right now for purchase is that rig. I get 5% if it's sold by the end of today. So I'm just kidding. So beautiful rig. Thank you, Larry. That was
Thank you, Bobby.
a great day. Joe,
enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Great answers. We hope you enjoyed it this morning. Again, thank our sponsors, Hendrickson, Whelen, United Safety, IDEX, and Darley. We love you. Come back and join with us. We'll be here this afternoon. We'll see you after lunch.